So we're going to learn how to add another page onto our app. So here we have our menu when we log into AppsBar. So you can see here is one of our apps that we're working on. So we're going to go ahead and click on it. And so what we can see is here are the pages that we've created so far. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I want to create a content page because I want to add some custom-made content for my students to be able to read and look at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to create new page. So when I go to create new page, we have, of course, our list of different pages that we can, of course, add to our app. And I'm going to go to content, and you can see it says create an impressive page containing text and images using our easy HTML editor. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now it gives me a sample here of what the content looks like. So don't worry, you can change the color. It does not have to be red and black if you don't want it to be. This is just kind of a sample. So we're going to go ahead and up at the top, we're going to go ahead and hit next. And so the information you can see here, we have to give our page a name. Now, unfortunately, it does not give us a lot of room in order to give it a title. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do AP, Advanced Placement versus Dual Credit, just because a lot of times students will have questions about that. And so again, just like before, we can pick an icon for our new page. So we can either pick from the library or we can upload the icon. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick from the library since it's here. So I'm going to find an appropriate icon for AP and dual credit. As I'm scrolling through, I'm going to see if I can find something that I like, and I like this book. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. So we have our icon, we have our title, and we're going to go ahead and hit continue. Now what you'll notice is you'll see that all of a sudden we have a blank phone, and now we have this wonderful editor that we can go ahead and add information. You can see that we can justify our text. We can put it to the left, the center, or the right. You can see that we can even change the styles of the text here. You can see that we can put the different sizes of the text as far as heading. We have different font styles here, as well as the sizes. So we can definitely play around with our fonts. You can see that if we keep on clicking, we have text color. We can do the background color. So that red and black that we saw earlier, if you wanted to replicate that, you can. Otherwise, you don't have to. We can add images. We can add numbers and bullets. We can add links, so we can create hyperlinks if we needed to. We can also copy and paste if we needed to from plain text such as a notepad or even from Word. So this can also simplify things. We can print what it is that we've written in the box, and then of course we have our standard bold, underline, and strike through and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the center, and I'm going to go ahead and put Advanced Placement, oops, can't type today, versus Dual Credit. And so we have that in the center. So now what I'm going to do, oops, is I'm going to go ahead and change this up a little bit. So I want to go ahead and bold this. I want to go ahead and make the size a little bit bigger, and maybe I even want to change the color. So I can put more colors here. If I click on more colors, you can see that I have a range of colors that I can work with, but I'm just going to go ahead and work with the chart that we have just for the sake of time. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a nice blue. So we have advanced placement versus dual credit. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and start adding in some information about advanced placement and dual credit. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and show you the text paste function. So if you're like me, sometimes you like to plan ahead and you want to go ahead and think about what you want to say, especially if you have something like this where it doesn't really have a spell check. So if you need to be able to write ahead of time, what I've already done is I have already written some information about advanced placement here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this information. So I'm going back to my screen, and so you can see here that it says paste from Word. So what happens here is that we have a new box that opens up, and so we need to Control V, which is our paste. So you can see that all the information that I had typed into Word is now over here. So I hit OK, and here's our text. So at this point, now that it's on here, now I can change the font, I can change the style, I can change the size to match what I want. And I think I want this to be maybe a little bit bigger. So instead of having it 12, I'm going to go ahead and have it 14. Now you can see that my title is blue, my font is black. I can change, of course, the font if I wanted to. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add a picture. Because we are talking about advanced placement, I want to have an advanced placement picture. So I'm going to go here to my image screen, and you can see that I can add an URL. I can upload a picture if I want to. And I have already found a picture here from College Board. You can see it says College Board Advanced Placement Program. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that link, and I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Now, what's going to happen is when we do, so we're going to hit OK, you're going to see that's a really big picture. That takes up a lot of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and resize that so that it looks a little bit better. It's not so big. Notice that once I hit the width, the height automatically adjusts. I can also set the alignment. So you'll notice that if I hit left, you can see that I have my picture on the left and the text is going to wrap around it. I can also hit right, and so if I do that, you can see that all of a sudden the picture goes to the right, and again you can see that the text now wraps around it. There are advanced options on here. However, I don't really mess around with those. I kind of just stick with the basic set ones. So I'm going to go ahead and hit left, and I think I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just because I want, that looks a lot better. I want a little bit more of my text to be wrapped around there. So when I hit OK, you can see now that I have my advanced placement picture and I have my text wrapping around there. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter in some information about dual credit. Now before I had copied and pasted this information, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and type in the information so that you can see what it looks like to have the information typed in. So please pardon my typing skills as I do this. So dual credit, oops. So let me fix my misspelling here. You can see that there is no spell check. Or DC is a class designed to give students a college experience while still in high school. Students are expected to do college level work using college approved materials. Let's see here. Students can earn advanced GPA points for the high school side. And college credit simultaneously. Dual credit is not an open enrollment class and does require approved testing. Oops. Before being able to sign up. Okay, so here we have some information about dual credit. So we could, of course, write more if we wanted to. Because we're talking about dual credit versus AP, we could even change the font color if we wanted to so that it distinguishes itself. So we can make this a maroon color versus the black color. Now, as you can see, we have the College Board logo on here. So I think I want to go ahead and put a dual credit logo. As you can see, I've already picked one out. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. And I'm going to go ahead and go back over here. I'm going to go to the image bar. I'm going to paste that in there and hit OK. And so as you can see, we have that in there. Now it's a very, very big image, so we need to go ahead and also resize this. I am also going to go ahead and justify it to the left. I hit OK. And now we can see that we have our dual credit and advanced placement picture with information. And so when I hit update, so we just hit update, we can see OK. And so now what we see is that the content is now added to our phone. Now, because we are dealing with a phone, keep in mind that even though we have this in the screen and we've advanced left and so forth, the phone is still going to adjust so that a student can read it on their screen. So we have our information on here, so we're good to go. So we've updated everything that we have. At this point, we can now go back to our home page. Oops. So let's go back to our content page. And so we go back to our content page, and you can see here where it says AP versus dual credit. And so when I click on it, you can see here is the information that I have just entered. And of course, I can go back and I can edit. If I click on edit, I can go back and I can input more information regarding AP versus dual credit, or I can completely get rid of the page if I needed to. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our contents page. And so we can, of course, delete this. We can add extra pages that have content on there. So if you have a lot of content you want to give to your students about various subjects, this is a great way to kind of personalize the page for them. So thank you very much for watching the tutorial, and I hope that you find this to be very, very useful.